Apparently, after 50 years of development, written by, directed by, and featuring stop-motion animation from David Allen, Full Moon's The Primevals has finally been released to the non-festival public. I rented this on Amazon because the streaming came out before the Full Moon limited edition physical release, sadly announced afterwards though. That edition comes with a Blu-ray dedicated to the backstory of the production, which honestly may be as interesting as the movie itself. A yeti is killed and then its body is brought back to be studied. While an extraordinary discovery in itself, our main characters want to go on an expedition to capture and study a live one. Eventually, we get to a more interesting plot. The reason why the yetis are finally being seen are due to them going closer to civilization due to, well, the theory is that someone is capturing and doing experiments on them, causing them to be more violent. Eventually, we get into some Hollow Earth type stuff, which is more tropical jungle than the snowy landscape we saw earlier. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's some other science fiction staples thrown in too. I would say, in the end, this feels much more like a sci-fi movie than an adventure one. It makes for a very notable, if not all smoothly transitioned story. I mean, you can probably make an educated guess by looking at the poster art, which, great poster art by the way. I like the design of the Yeti, even if it doesn't really look like the Bumble variation from Rudolph or like a white Bigfoot, and it kind of reminds me of King Kong, but all this makes it unique. I should be able to see this design in the future and know exactly where it came from, which I'd say is a plus. Stop motion looks good, and I'm glad to see it. Didn't mention earlier, but David Allen's work has been shown on the channel before, as he did effects for Galgamath, the Puppet Master films, Q the Winged Serpent, Dr. Mordred, the Critter Lake Monster, and both Oblivion movies. The huts the monkey men live in look cool. There's monkey men in this. Well, they're called ape men in one part, and then are said to be half human, half reptile in another. Either way, they don't really do much. I don't want to spoil the other creatures, but I love the ones that are the most prominent. Should note, yetis are the only giant-sized creatures on display. Great on-location shots, including snowy waterfalls. Apparently, most of the footage was filmed in the late 80s and early 90s, and the Primevals does have that era of Full Moon's charm. The look, the acting, and especially the music, which is credited to Richard Band, who's made some of my favorite horror movie soundtracks. Pacing, characters, and story are just okay. Never had me super invested, but also never lost my interest. There's inconsistent snow effects, and the use of multiple snow effects in different shots in the same scene makes some seem a lot worse than if they were shown on their own. I'm very glad this finally saw the light of day, and I highly enjoyed the stop motion creatures. I'd say worth a viewing. Thanks for watching.